Hello, is anybody here? Sorry, I was just grabbing my coffee. I think I'm jumping the gun on this entry a little bit, but I do believe off of the daily here, I'll do a quick little breakdown. I marked out like the bottom of this wick on the daily because obviously we're wicking off of something, rejecting off of something, so that's something to take note of. Off the 1 hour, it's clear that that's a significant support level on the 1 hour, anyways. So that's why I marked out a 1 hour support right here. And then on the 5 minute, we've rejected off of it a few times, and we have yet to break below these 5 minute supports right here. So that is why I entered in a buy. I said I jumped the gun because it's possible that it comes back down for a better retest somewhere down here before it decides to reject back up. But we will see if it wants to push up or not. And I'm completely fine with losing off of the first analysis if that is what happens with this trade, anyways. Yeah, I'm in the trade. And like I said, I might be jumping the gun on this entry because it is kind of like a consolidation zone in which I entered at. But I do think we're probably going to have some kind of bounce, especially since, like I said, we rejected off of the 1 hour support I had marked out, and we have yet to have any significant structure starting to create itself under these 5 minute supports right here. So that's why I'm going long. I don't know if I timed it correctly, and I might be jumping the gun on this entry, so I'm just putting in 5 micros. And then if we start to push into my analysis, then I have uh, like a buy stop here, whatever it's called, so that if we do start pushing up into my analysis and start going up, we'll get into 5 more micros. And then hopefully, if we do end up pushing into my analysis, we will fill this price range and I'll be able to exit somewhere in this blue box at in the next hour or two. That's my plan anyways. But like I said, I might be jumping the gun because that's possible that it falls down a bit more somewhere around here to show a better entry, but we'll see what happens. If you guys were on yesterday's stream, I entered this trade and then pretty much we just consolidated around this area for the entire stream. And then literally as soon as I got off stream, it started to tank down. And then that's when I exited off stream. And if you're in the Discord, I kept you guys updated with that as well. But we'll see what happens with this trade. If we start showing signs of rejections, like if we fall down and we start showing signs of rejections down here again, I might enter in some more positions with the same stop loss. Just to have some better entries down here if it does only drop and then it does something like that. But like I said, we might be jumping the gun because it might be falling all the way down and then doing something like that. Or it could just since we are in an overall downtrend on the higher time frames, it could just break down below, right? But we'll see. Now we just fucking chill out pretty much and wait to see what happens with this trade because there's not much else to be doing. I will maybe that's what I'll do actually. I'll break down some of the other markets I trade and maybe I'll enter in a trade on my live account as well with Fusion Markets. So I'll break down the two markets I'm looking at. So while this is figuring itself out, I'll bring this up here. So this is Solana USD. Yesterday on stream, I broke it down and I was short biased because we broke through the midway point of this key consolidation zone on the daily. And usually when that happens, it fills this price range. And clearly we are assuming that to my entry model. And this was the hypothetical position I took yesterday, and it would be healthy in profit right now if I would have taken that, but I didn't. So the next thing I'd be looking for is, since we are floating below or getting close to the bottom of it here, and on the 1 hour, we are starting to show signs of rejections, which is clear from these wicks right here. It's possible that this is actually like a flagging point, and it might bounce before it continues falling, or this might just be the reversal point where it does something like this. But either way, for scalping purposes, we can take advantage of this flag here no matter what it's doing. So it's possible that this is the flag I've been talking about, but I'm thinking if we start showing signs of rejections back down like it is now, and it still holds above these 5-minute supports, I'd be inclined to take buys off of it for something like that to see if it wants to fill back up to this area. But realistically, I probably wouldn't hold it for that long. So that's something I'm interested in. I will put an alert right there for Solana. For Bitcoin is usually reflective of all the crypto markets. Whatever Bitcoin does, usually everything else follows suit. Clearly, because Bitcoin looks like this on the daily, so Solana is going to look like that on the daily, as you guys can tell. And we are now at the bottom of the Bitcoin consolidation zone. And I actually like trading Bitcoin more than I like trading Solana because for fusion markets anyways, the spread on Solana is worse than Bitcoin. So we are having a wick right here, which means we have been rejecting so far on the day. Let's go check out the 1 hour, see what's going on. So this looks incredibly healthy for buys. Let's go down to the 5-minute and see if we are showing signs of my entry model anywhere. We are, but we just got to wait to see if it wants to do the same thing, which I said with Solana, is come down to this level and then maybe start showing signs of rejections back up. Then I'll be inclined to take the buys off of it. On GU, let's go down to the 1 hour on GU. So GU is usually reflective of Euro USD. For people that don't know, this is the hypothetical position I took yesterday on Euro USD, which obviously would have got stopped out. But what do you know? My entry model presented itself for the short side after we would have gotten stopped out. What does price do after it breaks through a significant support resistance level, which this is a daily massive macro one? It comes back and retests it. So what happened? It broke through it, came back and retested it. So that's when you would enter the breakout position per my entry model. If you guys haven't seen my entry model, like I give it away completely for free on my YouTube and then also on my educational platform or my Discord. But clearly those cells would have worked out to the entry model, but I wasn't on the charts while it was playing out. Anyways, so I'm not really interested in trading these FX pairs at all, just because it doesn't tickle my fancy anymore trading FX pairs like it does crypto markets and then also futures. So that's what I've been focusing on for this year primarily, is these two crypto markets, and then now with the Top Step account, which we should probably go see what's happening with that trade, honestly. So it looks like it's coming down to stop us out. So let's see if it stopped us out yet. So it's probably going to stop us out. And then we will see if it wants to show signs of rejection somewhere down in this price range. And then, like I said, I'd be inclined to re-enter my analysis to the top side. I have a sold position at 96. What do I think of that? Let's go check it out. I'm thinking overall, so we just got stopped out of the US 30 trade. So we'll just wait for another entry for that. Solana at 96, you say? We will be pushing up we're going to be coming back into this price range eventually. 100%. We're going to be back in the 100s. With all like the macro and microeconomic news in the world affecting the global markets recently, especially the crypto markets, clearly the main reason why they're doing that is they're wiping out a bunch of money right now, and then all the big money are going to reinsert themselves and for better positions, and then over the course of like the next 10 years they're going to fucking rage it up. Like it's going to be a massive thing like that, probably. Like I highly doubt it would break below these lows here for Bitcoin anyways, below the $50,000 range. But I I have a feeling for Bitcoin in general that it's possible that it does fall down to the $50,000 range, and then that's when the reversal point will be. So if I were you guys, I'd be looking at buying a shit ton of Bitcoin here at the $50,000 range, because I bet all the people that are pushing it down right now, that's probably the price point that they're looking for. And then for Solana, it's like the same thing. But either way, we're going to be pushing back up eventually. It's possible that this is the reversal point, because obviously this is a massive support resistance level. And clearly there's going to be a lot of people with buy orders around like the $80 range, right? Which we are floating at. So at 96, like as long as you have enough liquidity to withstand a bit of drawdown for like a few months, I'm thinking by the end of the year, we'll be back in the 100s. That's my personal opinion about it. So the first analysis of my entry got stopped out. So if this wants to turn and then have 2 5-minute candle closes green here in a row, then I'm going to re-enter the position and watch. It's going to give me the same fucking entry as I did before right there. And then it's going to be the same position, I bet. But we will see if that's the case. So I just got an alert for Bitcoin. So we'll go check it out and see if I want to take it on my live account. The same thing. If we get 2 5-minute candle closes green here on Bitcoin, I'm going to take this on my live account, because I don't even know if you can trade this on the Top Step account. I'm going to split screen this, I think. So this is Top Step. This is the trading view. And then if we get 5-minute candle closes here on Bitcoin and then also on the Dow, I'm going to be entering 2 positions, one on Top Step and then one on my live account. And then that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens. So the next 5 minutes will determine if I get into two positions or not. We'll see though. We will see. I'm thinking if it does, I don't know. I don't really like placing micros on the top step account, so I might go back to the minis or whatever they're called, just so I can get a quick banger if this wants to turn green for the next hour or two. The thing I don't like about these trades is like we are kind of just been consolidating for the past little bit. So like even on US 30, even during market open, which is right here, there hasn't been like any movement still. Terrible PA, to be honest, for the day. Like even during market open, there wasn't any direction it chose. There would have been an entry off of Bitcoin here though at market open, this buy. Since we are in like an overall downtrend on the bigger time frames, on the Dow, I'm thinking it's possible that this is just like a little consolidation zone before it continues dropping down. But I'm hoping we get one more rejection off the bottom here that I can play off before it decides to turn red. And hopefully these both flip green in the next couple minutes, because that'll give me entries for both. Thinking on Bitcoin specifically that if this is the turning point for it, it's going to turn green for some time. It's possible it could be could fill up to here if it breaks above here and turns green. That's crazy though. On the Dow, we've just been consolidating for the entire day. Like obviously on like the 1 minute, you could have played off these little waves here, but so like right here, we could have entered buys after market open. Now the volatility has died down quite a bit. And we didn't get a green candle close here, nor on Bitcoin. So I don't think I'm going to be entering anything right now. We'll see. But PA for the day has been terrible since New York Open, anyways. We've just been ranging in like a small little area. Usually, sometimes volatility starts to pick up in the next 20 minutes to like 40 minutes. Do I flip my bias on US 30 and go short here because we are getting candle closes below now? And now we're getting 2 candle closes to the downside. Do I flip my bias and aim for new lows? That's risky. I could do that. That looks the most healthy right now because obviously we haven't had any clear entries for the top side yet. Like I said, for this first one, I just jumped the gun. So maybe that's what I do. But I'm not going to micro that because it's probably going to be a small price movement because it's probably going to still, in my head, I still think it's going to reject somewhere off of these levels. But it's starting to look like it's starting to gear up for another fall here. And to maximize the most off of a move like that, I cannot be trading micros. I got to be trading the minis. I'm going to delete that. The thing I kind of want to see is it have over this next 5-minute candle close. If we get another 5-minute candle close below these levels here, closes red, I'm going to do the regular YM and fucking see if I can make something happen. Make something happen or nothing because there's nothing happening today. Bitcoin just stopped dead in its tracks as well. All volatility is gone, so sometimes you just gotta force it, you know? We'll do that. I'm gonna do that. I might even do it even if we don't get a 5-minute candle close below these lows here. I might just say fuck it and enter in contract. So it'll be in the next 40 seconds that I might take one. See if it wants to push down. But in my head, I'm a firm believer that it's probably still going to reject to the top side like it did previously, somewhere in this price range. Somewhere in this blue box, it'll turn green. So that is why it's kind of risky. And in tandem with that, PA has just been consolidating in this box for the entire day, even during market open. But it does look like it's going to start selling off here. So I am entering in a contract, which I need to go to the correct thing. So it shows it, I suppose. But we'll see. Like this, it could easily turn back up, right? I'll just put my stops above the most recent 2 5-minute candle closes here, because if it turns green, I want to get out as quick as possible so I can play back into like my regular analysis of being long bias for it to fill back up here. But we'll see if it wants to create new lows or not. I don't know how far I'm going to be targeting. I'm just going to be going off of what the candles tell me, kind of. And like I said, like I want to get out quick if my regular analysis of being long, like starts playing to fruition down here. But we'll see what happens. Sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, especially when you're on stream. Get the blood pumping a little bit. So if we break below these lows here and get candle closes, I'm going to enter in another contract, and then I'm going to reduce my risk and just follow my stop pretty quick or pretty close to it. So since we're scalping, we got to take in consideration all of these little support levels here that price rejected off of. So the next big one is this price range right here, which we're getting to right now. And then if it breaks below this price range with enough selling pressure, then that looks fucking healthy to continue falling and create new lows like it did back here. Especially since we'll have safety. So we can trail our stop above this price range, because then it needs the same amount of buying pressure to get back through it the same way it did with the selling pressure to break to the downside. But if it does flip green here and then gives me my regular entry model to the top side, like I said, overall, I might still be long bias. So it's possible I cut it and then flip it so that we get another bounce like it did during open right here. But it needs to break below. Bitcoin, I'm scrapping that idea because volatility's gone on it. So I'm not even going to be having that up anymore. So we're just focusing on the Dow trade now. The thing I like is how during this 5-minute candle, it wicked up, and then the selling pressure is still driving it down, and we have yet to have a green candle close off of this small little downtrend right here. So this is going to be the deciding point where price is floating at right now, if it's going to break through or if it's going to start bouncing to the top side. I think either way, it's going to have a little bounce, and then it might do something like that if it wants to assume the overall downtrend, or it's just going to flip up and turn green on us, but we'll see what happens. Man, terrible PA though. I thought this was just for like I didn't realize that this was entire like New York Open, because usually during New York Open it actually picks a direction, which obviously it's just been consolidating the entire time. I guess right now we'd be breaking below it if it wants to get a candle close below it. Up 200 right now. So if we get a candle close below here, I'm going to enter another contract and then move my stop, reduce risk to bring it right here. That's not really the candle I wanted to see. I wanted to see it close below a little further, especially since it didn't even close below the most recent lows right here, which would be right here. But now it's starting to break down a bit. We'll just see if it wants to hold the selling pressure. That's not what I like to see. I don't like that wick up. That means buying pressure is starting to come back. I would trail my stop right now to be right here, but since this is also a resistance level, it's risky to put it there because price could just be bouncing up like this before it continues falling. But if this candle closes green, no matter what, I'm going to reduce risk to save some of my balance. Because that just means that the selling pressure is starting to slow down off of this little push down right here. But if we get another candle close red here, then I'm going to enter another contract. And I should have hiked max position size right now for like five contracts, because I could have exited down here with like $1,000 and then fucking called it. You know, the shitty thing with prop firms is that, like, even if you get your analysis correct, if you have too big of a position, like let's say I did max contracts on my first entry, you have a drawdown rule or whatever. And that's why I also like trading my live account more, because like you can get your direction correct, but it's possible that price chops around a bit before it plays into your direction. And if your position is too high, you could get violated on the drawdown rules because of this fucking chop, even though you had your analysis correct. So that's the risky thing with like using max position sizes on prop firms in general. Is like, yeah, your analysis could be correct. Like, let's say we entered in the sells for this move. Like, let's say we knew this move, this drop off was happening, but we entered our position like right here with like max position sizes. We're like, oh yeah, it's falling. This little push up right here would have spiked us out for like over $1,000 if that's where we had our stop loss. And let's say that was our drawdown rule. So we just violated the account. And then what do you know? It turns red on us, or plays into analysis after. So if this turns green, I'm reducing risk. It's possible that I just cut it as well, because I don't like how it's not keeping on with the selling pressure below this level right here. But I want to see how it reacts to this little blue box, this support resistance level right here, before I cut the trade. But if it turns green and pushes up and closes like something like that, I'll probably just cut it no matter what. Which it looks like it's going to be doing. So I want to see what this candle does. If it falls down like that, and then it flips green, then I'm out. No matter what, I'm getting out. Which it kind of looks like it's warming up to do that right now. And then I might flip my bias for it to push green to fill to the highs here. Or I might just call it in general this session, because that would be 2 losing trades in a row. But I guess like the first losing trade is like a small one, because it was micros, not like a mini. Because either way, if it does flip green here and still plays overall into like the downtrend here, this little downtrend, either way we could get a better position if I exit the trade. But we'll see. So after it pushes down here, if there's buying pressure, it's gonna turn on us and flip green. But if it wants to hold this little support level that it's currently at right now, then it'll keep on pushing down. And if it does close red below this little 5-minute support here, then I'm going to stay in and wait for the next candle to tell us what's happening. So like I said at like the start of the stream, I was overall long bias at the over here, but obviously we pushed down and got stopped out. And I said it's possible that we push down, and that's why I jumped the gun on my first entry of the day, because either way, I still believe that we will probably be rejecting to the top side somewhere in this price range. And it's possible that this is where it's deciding to reject back up. But we'll see. It seems like so far that there is significant selling pressure off of this level here. But we'll know, like obviously if there's selling pressure and it pushes down like this and then turns up and flips green, clearly like buyers are in control and fucking cut the trade. Which might be happening right now. I'll be right back. No, hasn't flipped green yet, which is kind of a good sign. It gives me hope that it's holding this support level. But I also don't like the wicking of it as well. Like the next candle would have to fill and start showing signs that it actually is selling off, which it looks like it's going to be flipping green maybe. We'll see what this candle shows. If it wants to continue pushing down, that's incredibly healthy for us. But if it wants to push up above these highs specifically, That's a bad sign. That means that this is probably the bottom of the flag before it pushes up. We shall see. But also, if we get 2 candle closes red now, that looks incredibly healthy that it's going to continue falling off of this little support level, which I could enter another contract in that, even though it'd be like the same entry as my first one. And then I would just reduce risk to be above these highs here because obviously it's holding that, which I might do right now. And then if we get stopped out on this trade, then, or if we get stopped out here, then that's the trading session for the Top Step account anyways. If we get another candle close below here, I'm going to scale in again and say, fuck it. Let's maximize on this move. 3 minutes. If we get a candle close below the lows here, I'm entering in another contract, another mini. And then obviously I'll reduce risk again to be above this safety support resistance level. Or should I just say fuck it and plan for the downside and enter in another 3 contracts to max it out? Maybe I'll do that. Full port it. If we get a candle close below this little 5-minute support here, I think it's going to continue breaking down and I'm going to full port to maximize, and then I'll just adjust my take profit to make sure we're in the consistency rule. $40 seconds. Might be full porting the count with another 3 contracts. It's looking like I'm going to be able to do that because it looks like it's going to be dropping down, creating new lows here. 20 seconds. Five seconds, baby. I'm doing it. We're in more. So now we only need it to push down to here to get the profit we need, kind of. I'm reducing my risk to be above the most recent structure here, which is this 5-minute support resistance level. This red line is another area of interest that I could reject off of it and come hit our stop loss, but I'm good with that. We just need 1 or 2 more good selling pressure candles here, and then we'll hit take profit. We need a candle close below this red line because this is another area of interest that I could reject off of. And then I might put my trailing stop to be above this candle here. If it flips green here, that's a bad sign for us because obviously there's buying pressure around this price range. It needs buying pressure to get through this level because it needed significant selling pressure to break through it. So it needs the same amount of buying pressure to get through it. And obviously if it has enough buying pressure to break back through it, it'll probably be like a bigger flag, or it could be the reversal area. So we'll see if we get stopped out. If we get stopped out, that's the trading session done, baby. Realistically, I should give it a little bit more breathing room, but I'm not going to. I'd much rather get stopped out so I can move on with my day than have to wait through shitty price action like what price action was today. So if it's wicks green like it is right now to like somewhere up here and then flips back red, that means that it's going to continue pushing down. But if it flips green, closes green above these levels, that's the reason for my trailing stop, is because that's a clear indication that there's enough buying pressure that it'll continue pushing up. But since it's wicking back down, that means that there's selling pressure here, and it looks like so far that sellers are still in control of this little downtrend here. But we'll see what this candle wants to do over the next minute. So when you're scalping like this, especially with like shitty price action, in my opinion, you want to trail your stop pretty tight like I'm doing, above significant levels that it needs to break through. First of all, for safety, and second of all, it's a clear indication that price is flipping on your analysis if it's able to break through them. So you want to get out. So you can either flip your analysis and go with what it's doing in that moment, or try to find a better entry for your initial analysis. But we'll see. It's possible we get stopped out here. But like I said, I'd much rather get stopped out than have to wait through shitty price action. And then that's the trading session. It would be a losing day after coming off $1,000 day yesterday. So this next candle needs to flip red for me to stay in the trade. If it's going to consolidate or flip green, after this candle, I might cut it, especially if it starts to break above these highs here from the most recent candle. Clear indication to cut it, or that's gonna have buying pressure back up. What I would want to see from this candle is for it to flip green, test the highs of the most recent candle, and then flip red. Which it looks like it might be doing right now, but we'll see if it wants to hold above the most recent 5-minute candle. Hoping that it doesn't, but if it does, then buying pressure will probably hit our stop loss like it looks like it's going to do right now. So we're out of the trade, and that's the trading session done, baby. I probably could have exited down here for like the whatever I was up, but that's okay. So pretty much break even on the past 2 days, because yesterday I made $1,000. And that's the session. I might be looking for other trades on my live CFD account, but other than that, probably not. Was it dumb to scale in so aggressively? Maybe. But when you're on like a $50 combine, like it doesn't really mean shit, right? So even like the Bitcoin PA has been consolidating as well. Like nothing's really showing itself, which I was hoping it would rage up a lot better. So just overall, like PA has been terrible today and just been consolidating for the entire day, which is kind of shitty, but sometimes you gotta force it. I might even enter like micro, just because it still looks like it's going to be pushing down. But since we are getting down to these lows here, I'd be interested in going with my original bias for the day, which is buys off the bottom of it right here, which I wouldn't be taking my FOMO entry just because we did take a couple losing trades today so far. So I would wait for my regular entry to present itself, like something like this, off the bottom of it right here. So I would need to see it do something like this, and then I would enter buys. But that will be off stream that plays out, because I am getting off because I don't want to sit on stream and wait for that structure to create itself over the next 2 hours or whatever. But we'll see if this plays to fruition. Keep you guys updated in the Discord, and I hope you guys learned something from the trading session. I would say if you were on like the XFA, I would say you should probably take the profits when you got them. Like when I was in like the $500 profit down here or whatever, you should probably take them. But combine, and it's only $50, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll see if this plays to fruition, and I'll keep you guys